Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium, and you have found yourself viewing one of my Way Out Wednesday series videos. So every Wednesday, I drop a video on a topic that may be way out there for some of you and maybe not way out there enough for others, but I've covered a lot of ground and a lot of topics. And today we're going to be talking about ascension. Now, this is an important topic for so many reasons, but let's get started. So first of all, I do want to tell you that I'm channeling this. 40% of this is Susan. 60% of this is my spirit guides, ascended beings that I'm helping, that are helping me rather tell you about ascension today. So they want to talk about ascension as, they want to use the analogy of music. So as each human, let's just bring it down to one human, and then they'll increase it to the bigger perspective of all of us. But as one human goes through their life, they hit high notes and they hit low notes. And, sometimes the note is flat, it's just like a dud. And that's really us ascending and decreasing in ascension, literally in real time. It's really not like we cross over and the ascension happens, or the rapture, or that there's a new earth. That's not really how it's working. It's actually happening right now in this physical time frame that we're existing in. So each person is on their own ascension journey, as is the entire planet's worth of people, as well as the planet itself. But going back to the one person, you have a whole series of musical notes that you can play or that are elicited from you. Okay, so what does that mean when they say elicited from you? Well, if somebody pokes you, and that is an area that you have an owie and you get triggered, that's probably going to elicit a lower note, right? If somebody taps you and it's not an area that triggers you, you don't really care. You're like, what's wrong with you, weirdo? And walk away. That's not going to hit a low note. Maybe it hits somewhere in the middle, right? If somebody hits you with love, vibration, or joy, or gratitude, or respect, you're going to hit a high note. Conversely, if you send someone those same feelings of joy, love, respect, honor, gratitude, whatever that is, you're going to feel that higher note. You're going to feel that higher vibration. If you're sending somebody irritation, impatience, anger, you're pressing the lower note. So how we ascend is we really are, we become more aware of the notes that are being played, either because they're affecting us from the external or we're affecting them eternally. So when you're self-aware and you realize, wow, oh, that's a trigger. Why did that trigger me? That's the first step. Yes, that elicited a low note. Maybe your vibration dropped. Maybe you experienced a lower ascension plane of existence, right? Think about it like that. Anger, impatience, frustration, a lower level of existence. But the guides want to say, Humans are a piano. We're a musical instrument. We have all the registers of those notes for a reason. We're not supposed to just play only the high notes. We're supposed to experience the low notes. There's a lot more to learn from those low notes. But what happens is, overall, the register of notes is ascending. So maybe the register of musical notes was here, and now it's here. Now, what does that mean? It means that the low notes are not as low as they were. The high notes are now higher than they were. So in this way, instead of thinking that when I ascend or when we ascend, it's just going to be love and light. It's just going to be a utopia. That's not really what they're showing me. What they're showing me is the lows get higher, the highs get higher, but you still have the lows. You still have the pantheon. You still have the whole experience. Humans don't want to just, this isn't the place to just experience only utopia. This is a multitude of experiences. This is all of the experiences, the low experiences, the high experiences. They're all meant to have a place in our existence as humans on Earth. So as we ascend, we're still going to have pain, suffering, disappointment, joy, jealousy, but also joy and love and beauty and gratitude and respect and honor and bliss. We're going to have all of those things. We're not going to just chop off a whole potential of experiences. We want all the experiences, but they will get less overall, less low. Again, the low ones are going to get higher. Everything is going to get higher. So we are ascending. Does that help make sense to you? It's not we're ascending to utopia. We're ascending to less darkness and less darkness and less irritation and less violence. They want to say, they want to explain it to you like this. They're going to explain this in a few different ways. The dog or the cat brings its tail with them. The head and the tail are connected. You don't want to just leave behind your tail because you don't like it. It's part of us. It's part of our existence. It's part of our experience. We said we wanted when we came here. Now, I've done other videos on reincarnation. I've done other videos on why we come here. I've done other videos on soul contracts. So you can see all those videos in the playlist. You can really get a sense, a bigger sense for all of this, right? But in this video, for ascension, also, so you can understand that, right? You can understand how not only the individual human, but the human race is doing the same thing, but also planet Earth is ascending. So planet Earth is ascending as well, and she's not also going to just ascend to utopia. She's going to ascend to a new level of energy. And that new level of energy may or may not be more disruptive. She may ascend to a more disruptive energy for whatever reason. One of the reasons they're showing me is to disrupt humans, to get humans to wake up, to get us to start paying attention, to get us to accept climate change, to accept our role in how the climate is changing. The planet is not going to host us when we're not good participants. Now, that doesn't mean that she's going to kick us off. It doesn't mean that we're all going to get in a spaceship, and that's not the case. I've read on this too. You guys could see the video. It means that one of the potentialities is that we live in certain parts of the planet, that parts of the planet are not inhabitable, that humans find other ways to live on the planet that is less damaging. She will regenerate herself. She has that ability, but she needs us to get out of the way. It's sort of like the guides are showing me when you're cleaning house and you need all the kids to get out of the house, or you need to put the dogs in the backyard so you can clean the house or whatever it is. You have to get everybody out of the house so you can clean. She needs to get us off of these areas so that she can rehabilitate them. So she's also ascending. And this is all meant to happen. This is all what they say is written, which means this is sort of a contract. She is hosting us. We are living off of her, and we're symbiotic in that way. And that means that our destinies are intertwined, right? I don't see us getting on some spaceship and living on Mars. Sorry. Those people that want to do that, maybe some of you can, but the majority of humans are not going to do that. Does it mean other things? Yes, maybe we'll have less humans on the earth. We're going to have less children. Maybe we'll learn how to live better on the earth. These are our lessons. This is part of our ascension, right? Now, I want to also touch on, for some reason, they want me to touch on this. As humans, the individual, but also the group of humans ascend in our physical lives, during our physical manifestation of our life. We explain what that means. High notes, low notes, high notes, low notes. Pretty soon, higher notes pulls the tail up, right? They're connected. So if you're hitting higher notes, your lower notes are going to be higher. That's the point about raising your vibration. It does not mean that humans are completely ascended masters. To be an ascended master, you would have to live like a monk or a nun. You would have to live in a place where you were removed from society and someone fed you. You understand, you wouldn't be able to be in society. So that's not going to happen. We're not shooting for being ascended masters here. What we're shooting for is to raise our higher notes higher, to pull our lower notes up, to raise our higher notes higher, to pull our lower notes up. We're not going to always be in the high notes. We're going to be down here in the low notes. We're going to be in all the notes because that's why we came here. But in raising our highest notes, we're raising all those vibrations. All of those musical notes are getting higher. Okay? Now, what that also means is that some souls, I did talk about this in the reincarnation video a little bit, so I would suggest you watch that video. I didn't talk about it like this, but it can help you understand this. And I'm not going to go all into that detail. So if something is missing and you're like, Susan, this not making any sense, you need to go back and watch the reincarnation video. So some souls just cannot do it. They don't want to do it. They cannot do it. They don't feel like they can do it. They just don't feel like they can raise their vibration. And they may feel like they're being left behind. They may feel like they're being judged. And this is where I think we're going. This is why I think they want to talk about this, because I feel like this is June of 2023, and God only knows when you're watching this. But I feel like between now and like 2028, there's really a separation. There's some sort of culling or separation happening. That's like natural selection is the word. It's kind of the word they want to use. I wouldn't read too much into that because I'm trying to translate and I might be picking the wrong word. So please understand that when I say natural selection, I'm not talking about Darwin per se. I don't know that they're really talking about it in that very strict sense of that definition. Okay. However, through personal belief systems, personal choices, no judgment, because life is hard. Life is hard. And if you just feel like I don't have it in me, I don't have it in me to raise my vibration. I don't. I'm toast. I'm exhausted. This life has exhausted me. Or I don't want to raise my vibration. I think that's a bunch of bull hockey and I'm angry. And I deserve to be angry. I have every right to be angry. I'm mad. Okay, fine. That's your personal belief. You're hitting all those low notes. No harm, no foul. You know, you do you. Or I'm in grief. I can't come out of the grief. I just cannot come out. Raising my vibration, for you to tell me to raise my vibration feels like I'm under attack. It feels like you're saying I should be able to do something that I cannot do. Right? So you can understand how if a good portion of earthlings, of humans, are raising their vibration, you can understand how those that feel like for whatever reason they cannot raise their vibration, there's a separation there. That's going to cause some strife, misunderstandings, hurt feelings, blame, judgment, inferiority complex, because they want that, deep inside, they want to raise their vibration. They truly don't feel like they can. So this is not a judgment call. I'm having compassion for these people because they don't, and again, I might be one of them, right? I might be one of them. It's very easy in this life to fall into grief or low self-worth or anger. Again, we play all the notes. But what they're saying here is be aware that you're not playing all the notes. Be aware that you're only playing these lower register notes. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're only playing these lower notes. And the longer that thought process continues, the harder it is to believe that you can play the higher notes, that you can have joy, that you can have faith, that good things are coming. that you can have faith that you could feel passion and bliss and love. So if that's the case, I would suggest that you simply do one little thing, one tiny thing. Again, they want to talk about 5%. Humans tend to think that if they don't see a big reaction, there was no reaction. Like if it's not a big reaction, nothing happened. So much happens in the incremental. And humans have been kind of overlooking that. You know, we've been coerced or indoctrinated to believe in the hole in one, the home run, the three-pointer, that exceptionalism. If you're not going to get a hole in one, don't even try. This is a fallacy. And they would like to say there's so much more experience and learning and growth in the increments and the small steps. They would much rather us take 1,000 small steps than try to jump over all of that to do it in 2. So if you find you're in a place in your life where you seem like, you know, I'm experiencing kind of the lower register notes, I'm not really experiencing any of the medium or the high notes. So how do you change that? So what they would suggest to you is, I want to say very simply, because this is what they say, but I'm, as a human to a human, I understand this isn't so simple. However, very simply, listen to a comedian for a minute. Go back to a time in your life where you were happy. If that's childhood, if that's when you were 20 or 30 or 50, whatever. What TV shows did you particularly enjoy? Rewatch them. If you don't have the ability to rewatch them, go to YouTube and just dial up parts of them. Make yourself laugh again by not only laughing, but by watching that TV show that you watched when you were in a happy time in your life. You're reconnecting vibrationally back to that happy time in your life. So you're not only raising your vibration, but you're connecting back to a time when you were happy, which proves to you, you know what, in the past I was happy. That means in the future I can be happy. If I've done it before, I can do it now. So those little things, listening to happy music, watching a funny show, whatever it is for you, taking a walk, playing with your dog, your cat, watching video of your grandchild, watching a funny video on YouTube, listening to a guided meditation, taking a hot bath or a nice shower, or getting some kind of self-care done, a pedicure, a manicure, a massage, reflexology, sound healing, acupuncture, whatever's relaxing. What's relaxing for you? That's how you start to hit the high notes. Because I'm telling you, even if everything in your life is low notes, you don't have to be a low note too. For 30 seconds, you can laugh your butt off, right? For 30 seconds, you can laugh your butt off. You can be amused. You can feel good. And then start adding that more and more and more into your diet of media. And eventually, you'll start hitting high notes, even if everybody around you is hitting low notes. You don't have to match their vibration. You don't have to match their vibration to show them you care about them. You may need to repeat that. You don't have to do that. Showing them you care for them doesn't mean being in grief or anger with them. Some of us have been brought up or trained to believe that if we're happy and someone else we love is very sad, that's disrespectful. Why would you disrespect me by coming in here all happy? That's not right. Maybe if I come in here all happy, at some point, you're going to catch my happy vibration. And you're going to say, gosh, you know what? I heard you listening to that old TV show in the other room, and I just couldn't help but chuckle. Thank you so much for bringing me out of my doldrums. So you see how that can happen? No one has put you in a prison sentence. At any minute, something can change everything. We know that because in any minute in our lives in the past, things have changed everything for the good and the bad. So why not be activated to change it for the good? So now I want to just talk briefly about people that, so they just described to you how if you have a lower vibration because you're either surrounded by low vibration or you're dealing with an illness or you're just dealing with a crappy situation, which happens to humans, they gave you some tips on how to start finding those higher keys, those higher notes, and knowing that we're not always playing the high notes. It's normal. We're always going to be playing all the notes. But overall, we want to play a better version of those notes. We want the low notes to be not quite as low. Now, those people, for whatever reason, that just choose not to find those high notes or choose not to take action to improve their own lives and experience a different version of ascension. So you may also think of the low notes of being 3D and the high notes of being 5D or 7D, right? So you pop up to 5D or 7D, you experience that bliss, and then darn it, life comes along and knocks you down into 3D. That's the trick. The trick is to know how to get out of 3D and back into 7D. And the trick is to know that you're not going to spend your whole life in 7D. That's not possible. But overall, the more time you spend in 7D, the less time you're going to spend in 3D. You might drop down to 4D. You might drop down to 5D. Do you understand that in a different way now? But those people that want to be in 3D and they don't want to. They don't want to. For whatever reason. Those people will likely live out their life in 3D. Some of them never reaching 4D, 5D, or 7D, or whatever it is. And that's okay. There's no judgment here. We all came here to do the best we could do. It's a hard place. It's a challenging place. I don't want to judge anybody. I want to have compassion for them because that's a hellscape, is it not? To not know laughter, to not know bliss, to not briefly catch bliss. Okay, so I have compassion for them. I think we should all have compassion for people who, for whatever reason, are just stuck. Now, when they cross over, here's the thing that I want to leave you with. And I don't have all the answers. I'm not the oracle. I am channeling ascended beings, but I think some of what I'm about to tell you isn't known to me, but I'll tell you what I'm getting. And that is those people that have this lower vibration that they just can't quite escape from, and they cross over, which means, they die. Their physical body dies. Their soul goes on to live forever. When they cross over, their soul is going to be at a lower vibration. then perhaps those of us that were playing the xylophone all up and down the register, right? Our soul is going to be more expanded and more dimensional. And their soul may be more one-dimensional. And again, no judgment. But as Mother Earth is ascending, I feel that those souls may not incarnate here because we're all ascending. Our little keyboards, our xylophones are ascending. The lows and the highs are ascending. Mother Earth is ascending. And I don't think their energy is going to resonate. I don't think they're going to be able to reincarnate here. Now, what I feel like is going to happen, and if you watch the incarnation video, you'll know that souls that have a particularly hard time on Earth can go into some sort of healing cocoon. So I think these souls will go into a healing cocoon. But if they don't match this vibration, they may go to a different vibratory planet. So what does that mean? Again, they're not going to hell. There is no hell. They're not being punished. There is no punishment. It means that they're going to a place where they can feel more resonant. They're becoming out of resonance. And that's painful. That's painful for the soul. We don't want that. We don't want to continue putting souls here that are out of resonance. So they will incarnate in a place that has more, the frequency, the vibration better matches their own frequency and vibration. But meanwhile, the planet is ascending and humans are ascending. And this is going to help us ascend because souls that are incarnating here are not going to incarnate if their vibration is too far out of resonance with the baseline. The baseline, the median, not the high, not the low, the baseline. Okay. So in that way, earthlings, humans, and Earth herself are ascending. And that ascension is going to happen faster because we won't have these other souls that aren't vibrating at the same rate. We won't have to accommodate them, is the word. The vibration won't have to accommodate them. So the vibration, instead of being here to here, can be maybe a tighter vibration. We won't have to accommodate this much lower vibration. Again, it doesn't mean that we're not going to have darkness. It doesn't mean we're not going to have low notes. But overall, those low notes are going to be higher. Now, I feel like somebody's asking, sometimes I answer your questions before I read them or before I've even put the video on YouTube. I feel like somebody's asking, well, if this person is vibrating at a lower rate and they go to this other existence to incarnate, can they ever come back to Earth? Or will they be forever incarnating in a different existence? So what the guides would say is that the likelihood of them coming back to this plane of existence is not high. They would say, we never say never. There's no absolute here. There will be some souls that there will be souls that go into the healing cocoon that come back to Earth. There will be souls that go into the healing cocoon that become guides. There will be souls that go into the healing cocoon that need to then go to this other existence. there may be souls that go from the healing cocoon to the other existence that are able to come back over to this existence. Just not a majority, a very slim minority of them. And I feel like this other existence is when they're going to be working on their own. Everything about everything is work, is learning, is achieving, is growing. Okay, that's what all this is about. So in their other planet existence, they're going to be growing too. They're going to have less free will so that they don't get into quite as much trouble as we have, or we can. And they're going to kind of go in a different direction. What I understand is they're just going to go in a different direction. There was another question that somebody had. I think you guys worry about your family members that perhaps have some sort of low vibration. And you worry that they're not going to incarnate back on Earth, or you worry that they're going to be okay. And they're going to be fine. Of course they're going to be fine. There's no hell. There's no punishment here. Everything is about helping us grow, helping us expand. So if you have a loved one that you're worried about, just know that they're loved beyond measure, that they're cared for, that no soul is ever tossed aside, and that this isn't a punishment. It's not like, like I said in the incarnation video, it's not like you flunked out of Earth school. This isn't the remedial class. It's not like that, because those people that are have a lower vibration, let's just say, and they're in this other planet. Okay. When they go through their incarnations on that other planet, they're going to have an expertise and an ability that we're not going to have, because we didn't spend so much time and really understand and get to know those lower notes. They did. They spent a lot of time in those lower register notes. When they do their ascension, they're going to have so much experience in dealing with that type of energy, that type of lower vibration. So when they ascend, they're going to be vibrational badasses. So you see, that's not a punishment. That's not a punishment. That's saying, okay, you chose this path. Now you're going to be an expert in this path. Do you see how nothing is wasted? There's no punishment. Just because you chose these lower notes doesn't mean you're a failure. It means that you've chosen to be an expert in this type of energy, in dealing with this energy, in overcoming this energy, in experiencing this energy. We're going to put you over here. We're going to tighten up your experience a little bit so that you can really get some traction. In other words, we're going to focus your intentions. We're going to give you less distraction. We're going to give you less freedom so that you can really get through this, through these lessons, through this vibrational challenges. And on the other side, you people are really going to be an important part of the entire universe's civilization. Just like those people that decide to stay on Earth and keep vibrating this direction, they're going to have a completely different skill set. Completely different skill set than these people that have this other skill set. We need all of the skill sets, not just one. Because if you take that xylophone or that keyboard analogy that exists on Earth, and you make that a universal concept, then the people that stay on Earth and are incarnating and ascending on Earth are playing this part of the universal keyboard. And perhaps these people that did not continue to incarnate on Earth are playing this part of the keyboard. And perhaps when we all come together in some point in a millennia or whenever that is, we're able to understand, grow from each other, learn from each other, and in that cooperative way, expand each of our abilities to play all the notes in the universe. They can't play our notes, we can't play their notes. But if we come together, we could probably do that through cooperation. So you see how there's no judgment? People just get what they need. That's all that's happening here. If you by choice choose to ascend on Earth, you're going to get what you need. If you choose to stop ascending on Earth and to ascend somewhere else, then you're going to get what you need. It's all good. No worries. Don't worry about people. It doesn't do any good anyway. But it's going to make you play the low notes. When in reality, maybe your destiny is to play more high notes. Or maybe those people around you that are playing the high notes that just irritate the bejesus out of you need to go on and play their high notes. And you just want to be good with your low notes. And that's okay too. It's where these two separate competing energies come together like nails on a chalkboard that they irritate each other. Because one is thinking, you're supposed to be like me. And the other one is saying, I can't be like you. So maybe there's just compassion and acceptance. Maybe that's how we deal with these ascension problems that we're going to be coming up against, right? Compassion and acceptance. I hope this has been helpful for you. Thank you so much for checking out my Waaay Out Wednesday video about ascension. I really appreciate your support. Take really, really good care of yourself. And I'll see you again next Wednesday.